I do sincerely apologize for that. I've been talking and talking and talking and talking only to discover that the mic wasn't even on. I do sincerely apologize for that. Let me start again. You're welcome to Matters and Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Today is the first day of July 2024. Congratulations. Welcome to the new month of July. Happy new month. Okay, let's quickly take a look at what we're going to be talking about today. Former President Goodluck Jonathan made a revelation at the weekend that a close aide to late President Umaru Yar'Adua deliberately blocked the submission of a key letter meant to empower him as acting president, plunging Nigeria into a constitutional crisis in 2010. Now, for those of us following the affairs of the nation at that time, it is not really a shocking revelation. But this is the first time the former president, Jonathan, is delving into the behind-the-scene political details after the death of Yar'Adua in May 2010. And then the second topic for discussion, the Chief of Defense Staff CDS General Christopher Musa at the weekend inaugurated a student group to counter violent extremism and insurgency ideologies as part of the non-kinetic approach to conquering ideological-based terrorism in the northeast region of Nigeria. But as commendable as that is by the CDS, is that even remotely enough to stop extremism in Nigeria? Will this initiative help? What about the community leaders and religious leaders that do the brainwashing? What about politicians in this country that plays the politics of extremism in this country? What happens to them? How do we handle that? These are what you're going to be talking about today. You can call me Solo. You can call me Mr. Solo. You can call me Souls, S-O-L-S. You can call me Mr. Souls. But officially, I am Solomon Ofem. Again, welcome to the show.
I'm in the heart of a man. Those who are saying that are always insinuating. And for me as a trained lawyer, insinuation is not, we don't work with insinuation. We also cannot work with rumor.
Yeah, but you also know sometimes there is no smoke without fire.
Yeah, that does not mean that position may not have been the truth. It may also be a complete falsehood because, I mean, Obasanjo is not a political, is not a medical doctor that could have known that this man had just few years to live. Even if he had thought so,
but some of us knew. I mean, his frail health was kind of an open secret even before he became president.
Yeah, we know what. Not like we don't, because you see this thing we are talking about. Even the North, okay. We're gonna over. Okay? So it is safer to say, in order not to cause any level of bad blood and inflammation, it is safer to say that Obasanjo, of course, the National Working Committee of the PDP there, it's not only Obasanjo that just the North, where it came from, also approved it. So it is what they approved that were views. So if later on, unfortunately, something bad can happen, it will not be fair for Obasanjo for one to say that he thinks the man was going to die. I mean, not to stop, but that will not be, I mean, I don't think people are proper for radio. I don't think so. I just felt that what happened, it could have happened to anybody.
True.
I mean, it happened that way. What we can only say is that it was an unfortunate situation that gave the North a shortfall of what they could have completed. and that all we need to do is fight with them and see how they can come back to get what is left. That's what I think. That's how I think I can analyze it. I'm not going to stand on this iron cast ideology that the man knew that's why he plotted. I don't know how that sounds. I mean, it doesn't sound well to me.
Anyway, after all is said and done, the National Assembly later approved him, being the acting president, at that time. But let's take a look at the politics of today. I mean, with the current National Assembly, with the way politics now, with the way APC operates now, do you think that would have been the National Assembly would have? I mean, if you also see what transpired between Buhari and Oshibajo, where at a point it was like Oshibajo was practically erased from the vice presidency. Yaradua pretty much governed from anywhere. As I said earlier on, he did more, hospital travel than it was actually, but ruling in Nigeria. But either way, they refused to hand over the vice presidency to Yaradua. Do you think this current APC government and the way the National Assembly is positioned at this time, do you think I just felt though will be much more of a constitutional crisis now than it was then?
Okay, if same thing happened.
If same thing happened, I mean, God forbid.
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah, well, the national is not apparently constituted. It's not critical. Its oversight applies to what benefits them only. They don't oversight anything that is rigorous or take a real. Apart from the tax bill, the tax act now that we don't have. And maybe one or two situations when it has to favor the executive and when the executive approves anything, it goes because they are more of a rubber stamp. But I am seeing a reaction that would have been very devastating if it happens. God forbid it happens now.
Or if it had happened in the Buhari's time.
Yes, if it had happened in the Buhari's time, it would have been. Even the assembly at Buhari's time was even better than what I've seen now.
Were there? I think that assembly were even more of a rubber stamp than this one.
No, but this one that the Senate president goes to see for the president, that things are getting better and all that.
Well, the same thing happened in the last National Assembly too. I think we sometimes we're quick to forget what happened 3-4 years ago when things are getting even worse now.
Yeah. This one was more because I know that apart from the Karaki Assembly that was very critical, the one that came after it, you know that Buhari first term. Hello.
Yeah, we're here.
Buhari's first term was the Saraki Assembly, do you remember?
Yes.
Yes, so that assembly was very critical. It was the assembly that came after.
Exactly. I mean, it's the after one I'm talking about. I mean, yeah.
The one that came after, that became, something else. Where the nature of that was created express master that didn't even look at things. That even when the president makes appointment, they don't oversight. The president had to appoint so many dead people that went through cleaning. The only thing I know happens that the people were not alive to resume duty. They were that bad. So I agree that assembly was like this one. So
maybe even worse.
Maybe even worse. So it's an unfortunate situation. Anytime you have the National Assembly playing along with the executive, it is the polity that will suffer the people. Yeah, because their functions are quite different. And they are supposed to appear from different angles to ensure the progress of the country. So when they become They are taking this assembly. They put things that they are not elected to fight the executive. Nobody has asked you to go and fight the executive. What they are saying is that do your job, oversight the executive. We are not also appointed to be friends with them, or we are not also elected to be friends with them either. So if you have,
I mean, this is not even, this is not, if it's even friendship, it's good, because friends fall out sometimes. It's one of the things that makes friendship strong. This one is more like that, they are house help, you know.
Yeah, almost like house help. Yeah,
Exactly.
you are right. Almost like just 100% subservient to an institution that is that have the same constitutional relevance with yours. You can imagine the executive not acting like they are a senior arm of government. Meanwhile, by law and by constitutional computation, the three arms of government are supposed to exercise equal power. And within it, you create separation of power wherein they check one another to ensure that there's compliance with the rule of law and constitutional requirements.
Now let's go to the second topic for discussion, where the Chief of Defense Staff (CDS) General Christopher Musa at the weekend inaugurated a student group to counter violent extremism and insurgency ideologies as part of the non-kinetic approach to conquering ideological-based terrorism in the Northeast region. At the one-day multi-sector conference in Maiduguri, Borno State, the CDS charged students, youths and the civil populace to take advantage of the social media space to counter ideologies promoting terrorism and criminalities, thereby threatening the corporate existence of this nation. Now, the one-day conference is a follow-up to the previous meeting in which a project Students Against Violent Extremism, SAFE 1 and 2, was launched for students of secondary schools, tertiary institutions, and youth in Borno, Adamawa State, Adamawa and Yobe State, rather. This meeting with the theme Countering Extremism Ideology, Insurgency, and Terrorism in the Northeast sees to the inauguration of the students group and also the launch of a book titled Taking a Stand Against Insurgency and Terrorism, among others, written by the CDS. While extolling the role of stakeholders in recording the successes gained in the counter-insurgency operations in the Northeast, the Chief of Defense Staff emphasized the need to recruit youth and students at an early stage to champion counter-insurgency ideology as a component to the non-kinetic approach. Now, as commendable as this is by the CDS, is that even remotely enough to stop extremism in Nigeria? Does this even help?
Well, I'm surprised that we are still doing conference. We're still doing conference on combating insurgency in Nigeria. The conference you are talking about, see, the Army, the Air Force, the Navy, they are all trained. They are all trained up front to address all these issues. Okay, so they have the skills.
Both nationally and internationally, I might add.
Yes, nationally and internationally. So what is this conference for? Again, is it to train the civilians or to, I mean, which they say the conference so that you can use new media space to counter. What we need to counter is the physical combat. Take on these people. Nigeria is a country. It's not a hamlet or a place where a small village where insurgencies are attacking, and so they don't have equipment to go and defend themselves and all that. Nigeria is a country. A country, the federal government have the monopoly of violence, except that statement is no longer true. So what does it really take to take these people out? There are a lot of insinuations and rumors and all that the government may have a hand in it because it has overstayed its welcome.
Yeah.
It has overstayed its welcome, and people are beginning to insinuate that. And it's beginning to make some sense to some persons that why is it, even the soldiers themselves used to say it. Some of them throw their gun away and say that they are not ready any longer to get killed because
The government is playing politics with the entire situation. So
And
we've
playing
seen
politics
this.
with their lives.
Yes, so we've seen this repeatedly, and I that's why I'm asking the question: why are we doing conference? The conference is for what exactly? To make what happen. So this whole thing, I mean, the federal government need to go and confront this thing and earn its name, reclaim its dignity. I mean, the army. You understand? It has to, because we cannot be under this situation in perpetuity. They claim that we have a national army that that's supposed to take care of. They are not doing their job. So how do we call them? How do we check? How do we check this thing? How do we work out our own salvation in the midst of this very dangerous situation? So they have to do something about it. And one of the things I think they have to do something is not the conference. They should go and attack this thing from the roots. They use technology, they use all modern equipment. Okay, to ensure that this insurgency is destroyed, it's taken out completely. Because it's one thing that has led to a lot. It has touched, it has led to food insecurity because farmers cannot go to their farm. It has created fear and palpitation. It has wiped out villages. A lot of people have been killed. Some people don't have village again. Some people, their ancestral home and their dynasty have been erased by insurgency and the rest of that in the country that have sovereignty. So, I mean, that parallel power that the insurgents when they go and take over places and put their flag should not be tolerated in this country any longer. And so the army, the air force, the armed forces in its entirety must ensure that they do the needful to take out insurgency out of Nigeria.
Now, talking about attacking the roots and solving the problem from the roots, we have quite a number of components to making extremism to thrive in this country. First of all, we have the community leaders and we have the religious leaders that do a lot of this brainwashing. And we from, if information is anything to go by from history and everything we've read in the book, there's a way the northerners operate different from us in the south. Most of us here in the south tend to have our own mind, tend to have a critical sense where we don't exactly take everything our religious leaders and community leaders say hook, line and sinker, which is not exactly the same for the northerners, if information is anything to go by, where they respect their community leaders, they respect their religious leaders, and they tend to listen to everything these people say to a large degree. And then you have these community leaders and religious leaders doing a lot of the brainwashing in their church or in their mosque, as the case may be. And then you now have those are the political elite playing the politics of extremism, as has been said once in a while, every now and again. Even the last president, former President Buhari, came out and told us that he has a list of these people, a list of politicians and elites, Nigerian elites, that are sponsoring and financing terrorism. And when it's time, he will expose them. Until he left, we did not get to see these people. And a few weeks ago, at the height of the terror and attack in Benue State, the Benue State governor, Ayesinte Leah, came out and said the same thing, that he knows some of these people sponsoring this extremism and violence in Benue State. And up to now, we've not heard, we've not even seen the federal government going to prosecute these people. We've not heard any list being given out there that these are the people financing terrorism, and this is finally a right time to put a stop to this. We're not getting anything about that. And then when you now see story of the CES saying they are launching a youth group to fight extremism, we now begin to wonder what is going on.
Yes. The this issue. I actually took the federal government to court. The case is pending. When it said that it has the names, it put in their website. The federal government put it on the website of the LCD, yes, the names, some Brudeshonj, some individuals and companies that were listed as the sponsors of this insurgency. And when they did not prosecute them, I went to the federal high court and I brought that action before the courts. That case is still being delayed. Even though we went to court for the first time, because I sued the Attorney General of the Federation, together with the federal government and the other respective authorities, the NSA, okay? And we have joint issues already, and the matter will go for hearing very soon. Because the United Arab Emirates first released names of some persons, okay? The federal government followed it up by a rigorous investigation, and then came up with this thing to the point where they listed their names on the website. And all of a sudden, the thing just fizzled out. Last year, there was a rumor that they were about to prosecute 7 of them. I was in the US last year when I got that news. I tried to follow up on the news. I did not know whether the arraignment happened or not. When I came back, I had also made a lot of efforts to get to know whether that arraignment happened or not. But it seems to me that arraignment did not happen. So who is lobbying against these people being prosecuted? Okay? Who is lobbying against it? That's the question, because we must be careful to know where our problem is coming from. We must be careful to know where our problem is coming from. Because if we don't know where our problem is coming from, we cannot address it. And that is why I said that the federal government should play its role.
Now, but in this case, I think they know where the problem is coming from. I mean, they have a list. They have the names of these people. So this is not even an issue of not knowing the problem. They know the problem. They know the names of these people. So why are they not doing anything about it?
If that is the question, that is why people are saying the hand of the government is in it. Yeah, because if you know the enemy and you refuse to mention him, you refuse to prosecute him, what are you not telling us to do? Then the DSS chair will now be telling us that we should go and buy arms to protect ourselves. How should we buy arms to protect ourselves when the federal government has said they know these people and they will prosecute them? Why are we paying tax if we have to protect ourselves along the line? So I don't understand what is going on. I feel that government is not addressing the issue enough as it should. There was a time the Americans were here to help us take care of the issue. They left when they discovered that the government is not serious about it.
Plus, there was allegation of sabotage by even some members of the Nigerian army.
Yes, there was sabotage. Until today, that sabotage still exists. That is why, if you notice, America don't engage us again in this issue of Boko Haram. They don't. They just feel that we deserve what we are getting. I mean, we are not serious about what it is that gave them so much headache that they had to calm down to help us fight this. The way they defeated Al Qaeda, they wanted to use that model.
Approach.
Yes, that model to take down insurgency. But we did not allow them to do that, and they had to go, because insurgency is not what you fight with enemies within. You understand? If you fight with enemies within, you will find it very difficult to win that war. And so that's the reason this war will not stay.
But this initiative by the CDS, is it commendable? Is it will it help in any way? I mean, they say catch them young, and some of the people, I mean, the masterminds of this insurgency may be the older people in Nigeria, but the people that actually foot soldiers, people that are actually carrying out this, terrorism, the suicide bombing, are mostly young people. So it's not exactly a bad idea and a bad initiative.
So it's not a bad idea, because that idea is actually a long-term solution.
True.
Yeah, that's a long-term solution. But when you are facing a problem that has submerging exigency and contingencies, when people are dying, you need to apply both approach, both a long-term approach and a short-term approach. Yes. And that short-term will mean to go to the roots to terminate them. Then the long-term approach will be to reorientate the people, youths coming, and give them the right kind of education so they don't fall prey to joining forces with them. Because this is not just, if you see them, they are very young people between the ages of 20 to 25.
Some of them are still teenagers. Most of them, actually.
Yeah, some of them are even younger. They are productive age, and these people have already converted them, converted their energy. More so because the federal government, the government don't really have any plan for them too. So the schools are not well taken care of. Their communities, they don't really have much in their communities. Most of them did not finish primary school. Most of them did not finish, because if they had sufficient primary and secondary education, they will not join to carry on to want to harm anybody, because they would have had good instructions not to be involved in things that will lead to destruction of life and property. But because many of them did not even go to primary school, or many of them drop out at the primary school, and many of them are marginaries who never went to school at all, who only went to Quranic schools where they learn Quran and the rest of that. So it is easy to recruit them into fundamentalism. And that is exactly what is going on.
It is always a pleasure talking to you, Barrister Ufeli. Thank you very much for talking to us today.
It's my pleasure.
That's Evans Ufeli, a legal practitioner and current affairs analyst, on the show Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Okay, this is now time for us to open the phone lines. You know how we do it. I introduce the show, I introduce my analyst, we talk, and then the town hall will be open for you to make your contributions. So the number to call 0700-903-903-903. I'll take that slower. 0700-903-903-903. Or 0803-692-9933. Again, 0803-692-9933. You can also call or text us via WhatsApp. The number is 081 717-56338. The number again is 081-717-56338. That's the WhatsApp number. You can call or text us. We have our first caller in the house. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for joining us on the show today.
This is Comrade Suki calling from Banana Island.
Comrade Suki from Banana Island. Thank you very much for joining us. Talk to
you
us.
See, the issue of this insurgency, let me just tell you, Nigerian leader know the secret. Nigerian leaders know the secret. The secret is there is an agenda from the Western country. I don't want to mention their name.
Okay.
A lot of resources are taken out at this area of this insurgency. Then number two, Africa is the one that will Nigeria is the one that liberate Africa. They don't want Nigeria to liberate Africa because of market, because of goods and development. That is why they are causing problem in Nigeria. It could be likely to Congo, DRC. Since 1960, they don't have peace, because of Congo have many majority of resources that are using for this in the world are in the Congo. So this thing is an agenda of the Western country.
Comrade, let's talk about this now. Personally,
let me come back with my second phone, please.
Okay, call me back then. Now, personally, I'm tired of blaming other people for our problems. Hello,
Mr. Solomon.
Hello, good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, my name is Shola. And I'm calling from Ecuador.
Okay, talk to us, Shola.
Okay, yes, to start with the admission by Jonathan.
Okay.
That some Baba, initially stopped, the transfer of power. It's not a surprise, It's something that many of us were hearing. You understand? So, and we know the peculiar nature of Nigerian politics.
Yeah.
And that is part of what has kept us where we are. The people that are supposed to be our leaders, they are so selfish. That is why you see them playing this politics of do or die. It's my turn. I must make use of my opportunity. They don't care for the people. It's not of national interest. And the same thing applies to this issue of insurgency that we are facing. All the various leaders in the different local government, in the state government, in the national and state presidency, just like our own president now is preparing for 2027, neglecting the utmost obligation to the people, which is security of life and property. Likewise, we know that there is something tangible within the village, and just like the last said, there's a western influence. So there are so many factors. Look at Zamfara State. They have gold. Do you know that we have been hearing that helicopters going through this Chinese is unhandable to do, there's no talk without fire. And that is where people can't make their money. They come to mine gold, different things. These insurgents, these Fulani men, they have their own by the side. There's agenda by the side. So there's a saying that in Yoruba they say, without an opening, the lizard cannot enter. So our leaders are not fulfilling their responsibilities of preparing the lives and properties of the people, and that is why our borders are crossed, and that is why in the militaries there is no military pressure to punish any of the military men that are capable. That is why we do this impunity. And we continue like this until we have patriotic leaders who have national interest and not personal interest. But then we have this country. We
God help us indeed. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for talking to us, Shola. So as I was trying to say before, I'm tired of blaming international community for the problem of Nigeria. Nigeria is a sovereign country. We should be able to handle our business. Always trying to blame Britain or trying to blame US. There are so many other countries that were colonized by British and the US and still part of the international communities that are doing very, very well. The problem is our leaders. I'm tired of having to make excuse for our leaders and say, oh, the problem is from China, the problem is from US and South Africa. I'm tired of that. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. This call is from WhatsApp. Thank you so much. Afunwa Adama. I recognize your number. Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
Okay. Talk to us. Where are you calling us from, please?
I'm hearing you now. So,
where are you calling us
from?
You
see, my problem for this country, the problem of this country is tribalism. They are nothing else. The problem, even this, all this Boko Haram, all these men, all of them is a tribalism. They bring them to neutralize Jonathan government. So then bring them, and all the whole people, the politics there, from councillor to president, they know about them. They know where they know who they cause them. Like they sponsor them, because you can't tell me person like me when how much they say AK-47, where I never see money to chop food. Now I go buy that kind of gun. So now the government they sponsor them, our money, our tax money used to sponsor them. Let them say the truth. Let them say the truth. And the second one is say people they talk about say Obasanjo know that in general that will not last. Obasanjo na God. Nobody no hold somebody life. So you come, God bring and God take. That's my own dictation this afternoon. God bless you.
Thank you very much for talking to us. Okay, let's read some of the messages we have here. But before that, let's go for another call. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us on the show.
Good afternoon. My name is Obanje.
Oh, okay. You have to go to much quieter place. Where you are is quite noisy. We can hardly hear you.
Okay. Sorry. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now. We can hear you now. Talk to us. Your name, where you're calling from, please.
My name is Obanje Godwin, calling from Oshodi.
Obanje Collins. Okay.
Yeah, Godwin.
Oh, Godwin. Okay, talk to us, Obanje Godwin.
The problem of this country is, number one, is corruption.
Okay.
Secondly, tragedy. You know, it's only a foolish man that keep on repeating something and not yield the result. And the next time is doing it again. I'm from Benue State.
Okay.
Hausa and Yoruba, they have been ruling us since 1960, and we are not getting the result. Let's try other tribes like Igbo. If we cannot get result from there, then we know that our problem has no result. Because if you can see, look at Igbo. If they come to your land, they'll develop your land, they'll build the house, they'll invest there, they'll do everything there. They'll make that place as their own. But other tribes, they are not doing like that. That's the problem. Let's give them the chance. I'm a real Idoma man. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon. Solomon Abacho said if insurgency lasts 24 hours, the government knows about it. Look at the insecurity in the land. Imagine 17 armed army killed. Also, remember some months ago, 40 army killed in army base in Borno. If you protest, the government will quickly send police, army and Agberos to stop your protest. Whereas you have bandits and Fulani herdsmen killing people in Plateau, Ebonyi, Edo, Benue and Ondo, etc. You can't see such security to protect the people. That means government is complicit and it doesn't have the political will because of 2027 elections, political gains. How can they kill 200 people in a swoop? Also, police or army will capture the Boko Haram, Fulani herdsmen, bandits. The government will say they have repented and they will put them back to the society. You can see no political will to fight insecurity. How will there be peace without justice? It's a shame the worst of us is ruling the best of us. Truly, there was a country. This is Lekon calling from Lagos, talking to us from Lagos. Thank you very much, Lagos. Lekon, for your message. What the CDS did was okay. I grew up in the core north and the rate of religious extremism is high over there. But I think this is the duty of the National Orientation Agency, not the duty of the military. John from Ijaniki. I totally agree with you, John from Ijaniki. Sometimes I wonder what the National Orientation Agency is doing. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Comrade Suki calling back.
Okay, Comrade Suki.
Okay, quick one.
Okay.
You see, most Nigerian press, reporters, the newscaster, the what have you, they fail to have conducted.
You mean people like us, right?
Yeah, you people fail to have conducted a covert operation in all these areas. Now, there are two CIA people that are actually I'm following. They reveal the secret, in-depth secret of Nigeria to me. And I met these people by chance.
Okay.
Hello.
Okay. And
at the same time, I've been carrying out my own personal investigations.
Okay.
Now, let me tell you, I work with military.
Okay.
I work with security forces in Nigeria.
Okay.
Now, the top military echelon, they are exploiting the situation of Nigeria, the insecurity, to make money. If you want to doubt me, let Nigeria government prove all the military top echelon.
Oh, I'm not doubting you. I'm not doubting you.
I agree. Another one is the Western world, the three countries I don't want to mention their names, they were actually stealing. They were taking a lot of resources from Zamfara and from northeast, from northwest and north central. These resources are much more expensive than oil. So we are focusing on they are focusing on gold and on some other resources. I'm telling you, in 2019, a guy was hello.
Yeah, we're here. We're listening.
In 2019, one military officer traveled down to Zamfara State to do a covert operation. He went on his own.
Okay.
When he got to where you will not believe that in Zamfara we have a sophisticated estate, a gold mine field in Zamfara State that is not known to ordinary people. Government know it. Now let me come to another one. Some people say Nigerian situation is tribalism. Is no. The politicians they throw the tribal card to us when they want to do election. Ordinary man on the street believe we don't have tribalism. If Nigerian people if we have tribalism, Dangote will only employ Fulani people. Yoruba will only employ Yoruba in their bank. Igbo will only employ Igbo people in their spare parts. If you go to Ladipo, Igbo, Yoruba, and outside, ordinary people on the street, tribalism did not tear us apart. It is the politicians and the allies that they send the tribal card of tribalism card to us when they want to exploit us. We don't have tribalism in Nigeria. Let's be sincere.
Okay.
So now this Western country, our leaders, we ask that why our leaders they cannot do anything. Let me tell you, most of our leaders that come to the power of authority, that they are in senator, presidency, and what have you, they have skeleton in their cupboard. And all these Western countries, they will use it to bully them. Wherever they want to take action against all this insurgency, they will tell them they know where they keep their money in the euro and what have you, and they will tell them secretly. We have CIA among them, they don't know. We have CIA in Nigeria, so they will send one of the CIA to tell them that if you do this, we know your secret, don't do it.
Now, comrade, let's stay on that point. Now, I agree with everything you've said, but
yes.
I'm having a problem with the second point you make, which you're repeating right now, bringing in the Western. On one hand, I agree with you. These Western powers have certain influence. But I think those influence will not be possible if we don't have greedy politicians.
Have you traveled out of Nigeria before? Have you gone to Europe before? Or all these Asia tigers? Okay. Have you traveled out before? I'm sorry to use that language. If you have traveled out before, try and visit all industrial area of all these countries. France, England, and America. When you visit that industrial area, their refinery or what have you, you will cry. You will see a lot of resources that are coming from Africa. You will see a lot of resources that are coming to Africa.
I agree. But that is because of the greedy politicians.
When I went to Switzerland, cocoa from Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana. Oh my God. It's like a pyramid in Switzerland. How much are the farmers are making in cocoa in Cote d'Ivoire and Ghana?
When we have leaders that think about the people more than the bank accounts. You don't get the narrative. They will not allow our good leader to come to the power of authority. The West, that is why you see that our repressive leader in Africa, the Western world only romance them. They preach good governance in their own land, but in Africa they don't preach it. If in Nigeria, if Nigeria were to be now in Europe, all these our leaders are ruling on, they cannot get to the power of authority. So they will use a repressive leader against us. They know that this repressive leader they will exploit us. They will now gain from them. So until the day we begin to have a good leader, which as at now we cannot have a good leader because the electorate are not well educated. So
poverty is a man-made. They've used poverty against us. So everybody is running for what to eat.
Now, comrade, what do you expect? Yes. What do you expect from a continent where most of their leaders have been serving for 40 years, 50 years, 60 years? We have leaders that fight constitutionally they come into power, and after which they
let
destroy the constitution.
Let me explain something.
Of course, the Western
Let
power
me,
will
let,
exploit
let me explain
that.
something for you. Let me explain something to you. If you have a protest in Nigeria or African country, if the leader, if the politicians or the president or whatever, they kill us anyhow. Have you ever seen where CNN or BBC or Radio France carry the news? They won't, because
if I remember correctly, CNN, BBC did a comprehensive coverage of answers.
Was it when
even the protest last year that happened in Kenya, it was covered extensively by international community.
Hold on, you are missing things. You are getting things. When they carry this news, were their leader involved? They remain silent. They didn't say anything. Were they involved? Because they know if they talk, they know that this thing. See, they've already know that we don't have a good electorate. There's no way we can carry out protests that will remove these people in power.
Okay, comrade. We have to end it here so that we allow other people to talk. Okay.
Please get this narrative very well. There's nothing we can do as at now. Only one thing: revolution that can clear. But we cannot do revolution because the electorate are not well educated.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
You see that guy that said tribalism? That is the part of the narrative they want us to say. Tribalism has never been our problem.
Okay.
It has never been our problem in Nigeria.
Okay.
But they want you to believe that it's a tribalism.
Comrade, thank you. I know you're in a role, but we need to allow other people to talk to us. Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you. I think some people give this Western power too much power. I mean, they are strong, but they are not God. When we have politicians with goodwill, you can't be bullied into doing things against your country. Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
I greet you. Good afternoon.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Your name and where you're calling from?
Wisdom from Ikoton.
Wisdom from Ikoton. Talk to us, Wisdom.
This last call, I disagree with everything we talk.
Okay.
Our problem in Nigeria is tribalism. No one. If any problem happen between any terrorist or anybody in Southeast by killing anyone of any soldier, the soldier will go there and take revenge by destroying the community, do whatever they wish to do. But if that kind of stuff happen in North, 40-something soldier will be killed, nothing. 10 soldiers, nothing. But if one soldier kills Southwest, anywhere, all of them will come outside with their food force. That is tribalism. That is our problem in Nigeria.
Okay.
It's tribalism. I disagree with everything.
Okay. Tribalism. Well, okay. This is a nice conversation. I think we have a group of people that think tribalism is a problem in Nigeria, and we have some other people that are saying it is not. It is much more than that. Hello, good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, this is everybody good afternoon from.
Hello.
Everybody good from Ojo.
Okay, from Ojo. Talk to us, okay?
Yeah, you see one thing, this country, the Western world, they know that, you see, when they give us independence, they know the power of an Igbo man. Yes, they know how deep trouble the British. And this British, they went and take the power and give the prime minister another man. They know that they can. People they know they can play with.
Hello. We can hardly hear you. You have to call us back, please. Thank you. Your network is.
Are you
bad.
not hearing me?
Okay, let me quickly read some messages here. Good afternoon, VOP, Mr. Integrity. Under him, the money innocent inexperienced people donated for campaign was allegedly stolen. Another Lamba. I will say for one time, now lie. Nobody should deceive us again. Okay, I have no idea what this is. Oh, I salute your gallantry, my gallant friend, Mr. Solomon. Thank you very much. I hope you are highly motivated for this afternoon. Let me pause that and answer one more call. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon. Is that Mr. Solomon?
Yes, this is Mr. Solomon. You're welcome to Matters. Tell us your name, where you're calling from, please.
I'm Edward calling from Sango.
Edward from Sango. Talk to us, Edward.
I so much believe in tribalism plays too much factor in this nation.
Okay.
Because any calculating leader under one term can set Nigeria right. All these things they are talking about. And our problem is that when the bad leader, we allow bad leader to rule us. That is where we have error. And by the time we have a calculative leader who will set all our institutions, Nigeria will be okay. Obi have come out. And to me, Obi is like president to Nigeria now. Because looking from his record, you will see that if he's a criminal, but now the STC might have been looking for him. I don't think there's any Nigeria that can set a bad record on Obi. So, and now we have the ego to put Nigeria right. And he's an industrialist, he's a businessman, and he is well to do. And he told Nigeria now that if he allowed them to allow him
Okay, sir. You're way off points here. You're not. This is not the topic we're talking about. Okay. Hello. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, good afternoon.
Tell us your name and where you're calling from, please.
Yeah, my name is Paul calling from Egbeda.
Paul from Egbeda. Okay, talk to us, Paul.
Yeah. One of the callers mentioned tribalism, which is correct. And the comrade that said it's not tribalism, in one way or the other, he is too correct.
Okay.
When you look at what happens, can you hear me?
We can hear you. Go on.
Okay. There is no president that rules Nigeria without first getting security clearance from the powers that be, from the Western world. No one.
Okay.
Because I remember one of the guys that was interviewed on the TV, I've forgotten his name. I think the guy was a military personnel. He was talking about the former president, Buhari, that they have to go to the US to convince them for the US government to accept, that he was not a security risk or something of that nature. I think he's on YouTube. I watch him live. So what the comrade was saying is partially correct. The Western world is part of it. They wouldn't allow sincere people to become leaders. They allow those they know that have skeletons in their cupboard. They use those things to influence them to have their way in having our resources. And that is why when there is elections, if that election is rigged, you hardly see them comment. But in the countries where they have no influence, once their democratic elections are rigged, you see these Western powers, sanctioning the country because they feel that those people, have their own self-governance without their influence. That is absolutely correct what the comrade was saying.
Okay.
But I want to believe that we too
you have to
are
round
not
up, please.
sincere to ourselves.
Okay. You have to round up, please.
Governing elites have not made up their mind to make this country work. That is why
let's stop you then.
And they use it to manipulate elections.
Hello, can you hear me, sir?
To have their way.
We have to give chances for other people to talk. Please, 1 minute. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Hello, good afternoon.
Hello.
Hello, your name, where you're calling from, please?
What of the people?
Okay, let's quickly read some of these messages because we have to go. Okay, there was a message I was reading. Okay, I salute your gallantry, my gallant friend, Mr. Solomon. I hope you're highly motivated for this beautiful afternoon. I think I am. Thank you very much. The motivation of this beautiful afternoon teaches yourself to be alone because your favorite person can change at any time. Please be wise. May God. Come on now, this is not what we're talking about. This is from OC Moral at TA Lagbaja Army Cantonment in Ikeja. Please let your message and your call reflect what we are talking about, please. Sheikh Kota, I see your message, but it has nothing to do with what you are talking about today. Okay, one more call before we go. This is the last call. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us. Hello, good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon, VOP. My name is Mr. Bintu from Ilasa Manja. Please don't mind our president. He doesn't know that what goes around comes around. 2 weeks to election will tell him that he knows what is going on today. You guys did not listen to our conversation. Most of the messages I'm getting here have nothing to do with what we're talking about. The problem of this country is religion and tribalism. If all the citizens stand up in one voice and condemn the atrocities happening in our country today and protest against it, our leaders will sit up. But few people that are benefiting from the government, or probably because the president is from their tribe, will rather protest against the protesters. Edwin from Agege. Okay, thank you very much, Edwin. May this new month bring you happiness. Thank you very much. Good afternoon. Did Obasanjo got power from Abdul Salam? The Jonathan complained when he got power from Yaradua. Tinubu took power from Buhari and is complaining. APC is not competent. That is the fact. Gideon. Okay, thank you very much, Gideon. Good afternoon, Solomon. There is a strong neutron element called californium. These elements are extracted from Zamfara, and 1 kilo is sold at 27 million pounds. And former governor of Zamfara State is receiving $1 million for selling this product illegally to Western country. Okay, I think I'll have to stop that message there. We won't have to read unverified messages here. That's a chica from Apapa. Good afternoon to you in the studio. My name is Caesar from Alagbado. Whoever says the condition given to... Okay, I have to stop that message there. What is going on? Please, you guys should listen to the conversation and make your contributions according to that conversation. I'm seeing lots of messages here, but they are way off point and way off base. Former President Goodluck Jonathan made the revelation at the weekend that a close aide to late President Umaru Yar'Adua deliberately blocked the submission of a key letter meant to empower him as acting president, plunging Nigeria into a constitutional crisis in 2010. That is what we're talking about today. And the second topic for discussion is the chief of defense staff, CDS General Christopher Musa, at the weekend inaugurated a student group to counter violent extremism and insurgency ideologies as part of the non-kinetic approach to conquering ideological-based terrorism in the northeast region of Nigeria. But as commendable as that is by the CDS, is that even remotely enough to stop extremism in Nigeria? Will this initiative help? What about the community leaders, religious leaders that do the brainwashing? What about the politics and politicians that play politics of extremism? That is what we're talking about today. But most of you are saying something else. Unfortunately, that's where we draw the curtain for today's edition of Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Thank you very much to those that contributed, especially those that contributed and make their contribution on the topics we're discussing today. Tomorrow is another day, but I will be here My colleagues will be here to present the show Matters on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. And I will be back on Thursday. So until tomorrow when we come your way again, you can follow our social media handles at VOP903FM. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at VOP903FM. Good afternoon and thank you for listening. I am Solomon Ofem. Ciao.
Welcome to the best exclusive radio station, VOP 90.3, bringing you the best mix of the best music.
Goodbye to my ex. Yes. Hello to my next. Yeah. I do not accept your apology. Just let me be, just let me free. Give me a little space, step back, let me breathe. Yeah, you the cold shoulder, I really hope you free. Until you burn, almost had me in Burberry. Turn you to a brother and tryna get married. Wanna trap me cause the money in her. Bring you to a god that I'm not soon buried. Piss me off, you're too suspicious. Too ridiculous, love ambiguous. Now we broken up, and I can fix you up. We're past giving up. Your face twisted up. You called I can't pick up. Said I broke your heart. Said I damaged ya. Tryna make me the bad guy. I miss my one touch. Goodbye. Say one more. Too much. Say one more. Ex. Say one more. Yes. And now you miss my one touch. Hello. Say one more. Too much. Say one more. Next. Say one more. Oh baby please, oh baby please. You know say me I know like bad energy. Oh baby please. You so picky and I noticed it. And I saw more I keep me, my love trigger me. I know they like with the phone gangsta, but the girls we I love, but don't balance me. It's a load they don't need the way, but we let throw away, carry your load to go save way. One pretty girl, too many problems. Need many girls, make money solve them. Free petty girl, I'm 10 over 10, I no care, I don't worry them. Yeah. Let me take back elements. Party me jack, I love flex. Yeah. I won't touch your back. Say one more, too much. Say one more, ex. Say one more, and now you miss my one.